the second hour, and I hope that next class we'll be able to see everybody. It sounds like we will have one half of our class, and then I will repeat the second half for the class. I'll repeat same. So I will have to have 2 classes, but face to face. I hope that we will be able to do it. And next week will be Friday because of your foundation days of your university. So, okay. So let me continue and finish up. So we'll be able to do what we decided to do. All right. So the next. So that I told you earlier, pituitary gland is considered to be master gland. So some commercial companies called they are pituitary. So there are some names for that because of this special function of it. The next one is pancreas. The pancreas is very important because it produces 2 kinds of hormones. Well, not the hormone, 2 kinds of endocrine and exocrine. It produces the hormones, it produces the pancreatic juices. So that's really unique. Yeah. So pancreas, when you look at microscope, there's a particular area we call Langerhans Island. And when you look at more carefully, and that the microscopic histological picture has different cells. The beta cells produces insulin, alpha cell produces glucagon, and somatostatin produces being produced by delta cell. Now, insulin, everybody knows about it. Glucagon, only doctors know glucagon. See, insulin, glucagon, they are kind of counteracting each other. The insulin produces lowering of blood glucose level, whereas glucagon increases. So when you have a patient who has high blood sugar, you give certain amount of insulin. The opposite, when you give glucagon, that goes up. But mainly, we're going to pay attention to insulin. Because insulin, lack of the insulin, or to be precise, relative lack of insulin is the disease. We call it diabetes. And when you see people older than 60 years old, 1 out of 6, they have diabetes. I'm the one. I have diabetes. So do I take medicine? Yes. Do I take insulin? Not yet. I may have to take insulin in the future. So that insulin, glucagon, somatostatin is producing delta cell, but it opposes growth hormone. So as I told you, some hormones, they are fighting each other to keep the balance. So like anything in our world, you don't have to have too much, that's the problem. If you have too little, that's the problem. Good example is money. If you have too much money, you're not going to be happy. If you have too little, also not happy. So some people praise God that, please God, help me, please help me right amount of money for my life. Not too much, not too little, because that's no good. So, like same thing. So pancreas, I'll come back later when I have a chance, because pancreas is relative deficiency of pancreatic gland that produces diabetes. And diabetes, you will meet diabetes whenever you go to the hospital. When you see the patient, there are lots of patients with diabetes. So you've got to know about it. And thyroid thyroid being produced by TSH, which is produced in the pituitary gland. And thyroid gland produces hormones, but one is called T3, chemical name is triiodothyronine. It has 3 the atoms of iodine. T4, it has 4 the iodine in it, so we call it thyroxine. Thyroxine is important because it's a major hormone. If you have too much, you will be in trouble. Graves' disease. If too little, you get thyroid deficiencies and so forth. And thyroid produces another hormone called calcitonin. This calcitonin opposes action of parathyroid hormone. So calcitonin, parathyroid hormone, they are in balance to keep your blood level, calcium level right. So thyroid makes a lot of diseases if you have too much, too little. So I put there thyroid nodules. Some people have nodules inside. It kind of not comfortable nodule because you never know it is a cancer or not. So people try to take it out, but they may not be cancer. So knowing whether cancer or not, so you do biopsies and so forth. So thyroid. Goiter is enlargement to thyroid. That's called goiter. Cretinism, if a person is born with very little thyroid hormone at birth or in early childhood, you don't grow very well. So we call it cretinism. Graves' disease, it's somehow your thyroid gland gets out of control. It makes a lot of thyroid hormone, and we call Graves' disease. Hashimoto disease, thyroid gets infection and inflammation, mainly inflammation. It produces more thyroid, but later less thyroid, so we call it Hashimoto disease. So thyroid again, it makes quite a bit of trouble. So having thyroid good amount, in other words, thyroid hormone is good amount and balance. You keep your body right condition. It acts like thermometer in your house. So when you keep the thermometer too high, everything is too hot. So we call it hyperthyroidism. If the thermometer goes down, your body cools down, you talk slow, your body is not that smooth. It's like, so it gives you hypothyroidism. Your pulse rate is too low. Hyperthyroidism, your pulse rate too high. So that's another sign you make decisions. Now, parathyroid hormone is being produced by parathyroid gland. It is 4 small tiny nodules behind your thyroid. In other words, para means next. So parathyroid hormone is situated in 4 corners of your thyroid, posteriorly, behind, not the front. So it produces hormone called the parathyroid hormone. It is opposed by calcitonin, which is produced in thyroid. See that? How complicated that is. So our body is so complicated. Even talking about your hormones is really, endocrinology is a whole big textbook for that. And even you get the physiology book has a lot of chapters in hormone. So your body is very complicated. I even call it mysterious. For example, your brain, you will learn more and more about the brain. And your brain is so mysterious, is as mysterious as stars in the sky. So universe and your body are two mysterious things in the world. I said now, but it's actually was said by Nietzsche. Nietzsche said, I'm sorry, not Nietzsche, that's Kant. Immanuel Kant said that there are two things, mysterious things in the world. It's a brain of a human body and stars in the universe. Okay, so that's parasite hormone. Let's go next. Adrenal gland, I have mentioned a little bit about it, but this time we'll more explain to you. Adrenal gland is called adrenal. In other words, it's top of the kidney, like a hat. Adrenal. So, where is the adrenal gland? Next to the kidney. It's a top, like a hat. So, you have two adrenal glands, but when you look at the adrenal gland, there are two actually groups of functions. Outside we call adrenal cortex. Inside we call adrenal medulla. We consider they kind of came from different world and joined to make it up as adrenal gland. So they are not talking each other even though they are together. So outside is cortex, produces hormones. We call it together corticosteroid because it's made in the cortex. The chemically produces steroid, so we call corticosteroid. It has three groups of hormones. One is glucocorticoid, like hydrocortisone, cortisol. It's something to do with metabolism of glucose. If you have too much, your blood level of sugar, the glucose will go up. Mineralocorticoid, why we named it? Because it's a corticoid, but it controls minerals, the sodium and potassium. So there is a hormone called aldosterone that is important for your blood pressures and sodium and potassium level. Third is androgens. Note that there's a plural, androgens, because that actually is not one. It's it does produces the male functions, but as well as later female functions. So androgens. So adrenal cortex produces three kinds. And inside, we call medulla, produces two kinds of hormones, epinephrine, but is known more often as adrenaline. Adrenaline. I think probably the E's, sometimes they put it in, sometimes don't put it in. Norepinephrine, so also we call it noradrenaline. Epinephrine, noradrenaline are related because chemically its only differences is adding methyl side chain and then you pick up epinephrine. So norepinephrine adds methyl group CH3, it becomes epinephrine. Is it exactly the same kind? Well, they are alike, but it's a little different. Because norepinephrine stimulates your blood vessel muscles, they constrict, so they increase the blood pressure. But it does mainly by doing it alpha receptor. But epinephrine somehow, it does both. It produces alpha, but also it produces beta receptor. It stimulates alpha as well as beta. Therefore, it does make your asthma attack go away. Blood pressure goes up, heart gets elevated in the heart rate, but it does open up your bronchial trees. So epinephrine you inject to the patient who has asthma attack. They get better, breathe better, but heart also will be faster because essentially epinephrine does two jobs. It stimulates the heart and opens your bronchial muscles, therefore bronchodilatations. All right. So I hope I speak slow enough, and also I hope that you follow all those new names and chemicals and biochemistries and so forth. So that's the difficult part, I would say. All right, kidney. When I was young, kidney, I said, oh, it produces urine. How? It filters, like a chair filters things down. So in your blood, blood goes through the kidney, it goes through the nephron, and blood returns, but it loses a lot of liquid, and we call it together urine, depending upon the situation. Urine gets thicker, in other words, dense, or higher, smaller, and depending upon your situation. However, now kidney, we learned, it produces a hormone we call renin-angiotensins. This hormone produces hypertension, blood pressure goes up. So depending upon your situation, kidney produces more these hormones, your blood pressure goes up. And less, your blood pressure goes down. So what you do in pharmacology, you take some medicine to slow down the actions, inhibits the actions. That's a lot of blood pressure medicine. So again, related to blood pressure medicine, because we learned renin-angiotensin, and then the smart guys found out the chemicals to counteract this one. All right, next one is gonad, the sex gland, testicles and ovary. Androgens actually composed of 3 different chemicals. Testosterone, everybody knows. If it is too much, you will be in trouble. Dihydrotestosterone and androstenediones. So these are 3 together we call the androgen. Ovary produces estrogen. Estrogen has about 4 different chemicals, but you don't remember all of it except your biochemistry exam. So one you remember is estradiol, it's the most strong, and it produces progesterone. So ovary produces estrogen, progesterone, depending upon the menstruation cycle and gestations. Now, androgens is being made testicle, I said, but also is produced in adrenal cortex and also produced in ovary. So we can see sometimes hormones is being produced in different glands. So again, it complicates androgens. The lastly, thymus. Thymus is located in your upper chest, in the middle, behind your sternal bones. It's very mushy and it's hard to isolate, but it is very important. It produces thymosin. If you don't have it, you will be in trouble. T cell will not be matured. So it is very important, cellular immunity. Medically, clinically, we don't pay attention much until you have immunodeficiency. So since immunodeficiency is so rare, we don't really say much about it, but only thing is when you take a picture in children, young children, it shows up. It shows up young children. As you grow older, it shrinks. So in children's chest X-ray, when you see those strange shadow, everybody's really worried about it. It might be something cancers and so forth, but it's a thymus. But I don't have much thymus. We grown up and all pretty much it's shrunk and atrophied. So that's the thymus gland. So we kind of went through almost all the glands you have in your body, endocrine and exocrine. But as I said, it's in balance. Too high, we call hyper. Yeah, hyper. There's misprintings. Hypofunction and hyperfunctions. PER. Hyper means high. Hypo means low. Sounds similar, but it's sort of important to differentiate it. So, if you have a thyroid too low, we call hypothyroidism. If it is too high, is misprint, hyper, H-I-P-R, thyroidism. So if you're too high, hypothyroidism. Too low, hypothyroidism. If the gonad is too much, hypergonadism. Too low, hypogonadism. There's a lot of hyper going through, so that remember, the gland goes up and down. So you might call it diabetes, hypoinsulinism. Nobody says that one, but when you make it up, insulinism. Yeah. Now I wrote down is Cushing's disease. That's another name for the hyperadrenocorticosteroidism. Adrenal gland is high. Cushing's disease. The opposite we call Addison's disease. Why they name it funny? Well, it's just, we honor the doctors who studied those conditions. It's Cushing, Dr. Cushing, and Dr. Addison. So Cushing's is too high, Addison's is too low. Why that happens? I'm going to read the books. All right. So I named it whole person.